All right. Good morning, everyone. Hi.
Morning,
Morning.
Nice to see you all again. You're my favorite, my favorite people from Hanoi. Probably like the only people I know, but still my favorite. And greetings to you from California. I'm coming to you live from my house. Have my like Vietnamese quilts on the wall, and I'm really excited to reconnect with you all. Today we have a webinar. I'm just gonna mute people just for the background noise, and then we'll unmute your in a minute. But so I muted you, but you can unmute yourself when you want to talk. But just for the background noise for the recording. But yeah, I'd love to start. Probably a lot of you haven't used Zoom before, and I want to make sure that we know how to use it. So there's a chat on the side. If you go to like the bottom or maybe it's the top of your screen, you should find an option to chat. Can you all try that? I'm gonna say hello in the chat, and okay, good. Yeah, make sure you find it. And then I'd love for people to share in the chat, what do you want to learn from this webinar? I talked to Hung, I talked to Owen, I talked to Fan, but I'd love to hear from you what you want to learn. So if you could just take a moment to type in the chat, what do you want to learn today? That would be great. Yes, please share what you want to learn today in the seminar, webinar. So Lynn says to be more relaxed and approach sales and wowing customers without stress. Great, thanks, Lynn. Good to see you again. Hang said the ideas, so ideas behind wow service. Yep, we have plenty of ideas to share with you. What else? Feel free to just drop in whenever you're ready. Just a couple more is good. Okay, I don't see any more in the chat, but if you have them, you can add them as we go. Please make sure to use the chat if the question comes up while I'm speaking, or you could even unmute yourself and you can ask me a question. Oh, I see someone else said, Hua said, the impacts created by WOW service. Okay, so success stories. Okay, great. So for today, this is the agenda, and I want to definitely keep in mind what people say that they want to learn. But it's a full webinar. So we're going to go over what is WOW. We're going to warm up to WOW through some questions. And this is going to be an interactive webinar, so it's going to be kind of like a workshop. So I'm not going to be talking the whole time. You're going to be using your playbooks and working together and brainstorming, as well as learning. So we'll do the warm up to WOW, then we'll do 3 ways to WOW. So these are 3 ways that are very recommended in many different companies. And then PECs stands for personal emotional connection. And maybe you are already familiar with that term, but we'll have a moment to connect more. And then we'll do how to wow. So that's kind of more on the ideas around wow service. And then we're going to do an activity called Design Your Wow Team Member, or we also call it Wow Star. So really thinking about what kind of person do we want to embody, or what kind of person do we want to be, so we can exhibit wow service. And then we'll have a brainstorm. So the brainstorm will be an opportunity for you to generate ideas on how you might wow your customers, the parents, the students, each other. And then if we have time, we're going to do something called the Wow Alliance, which is like an agreement that we would make together of how we want to wow going forward. And if if we really rock and have extra time, we'll also have, I definitely want to have time for Q&A, question and answer. Because I'm sure you have, I hope a lot of those questions get answered, but maybe there will be more questions. And I'm also going to leave you my email address and also the slides and also a recording, so you can look at this again and also email me. Okay? Does that sound good? I can't hear you, any of you, because I muted you. Feel free to unmute or give me a thumbs up on video. And I see a yes from Lynn. Thumbs up from Joel. Good to see you, Joel. Awesome. Okay. Well, we'll get started. Again, use the chat. If anything comes up, I'll try to watch it. Okay. So firstly, what is wow? I think it's quite an American term, but wow, I looked it up in the dictionary to make sure that we're on definition, but it means it's an exclamation. So it's like to express astonishment or excitement, admiration. As a noun, it means like a sensational success, like a great success. And as a verb, as an action, it means to impress or excite someone greatly. And I know that's sounds like a really big thing, but actually you could wow people in very small ways. And at Zappos, one of the companies that has become quite famous for wowing through customer service, they say that to wow, you must differentiate yourself, which means do something a little unconventional, different, innovative, and to do something above and beyond what's expected. And whatever you do, it should have an emotional impact on the receiver. So I know that's a lot to think about, but again, I'll show you more ways of how it can be very easy, and I'm sure that you do this naturally, and you probably already do this a lot already. But yeah, this is basically the line of wowing. So one way that we can wow people is through surprising and delighting people, kind of going above and beyond to help your coworkers or your customers. When we create meaning, so when things are special, that also creates wow. And then when we build connection, that also creates wow. So that's just a little kind of a definition. And if this line is customer expectations, which is just kind of, what people normally want, then wow just takes it up a notch. And of course, you can't go above and beyond every single moment of every day. But we can find small ways that we can wow each other, and it can be very fun. It can be very energizing, not stressful. So that's a thing. And yeah, it has a big impact on people's experiences. So it goes from if you have a bad customer experience, it's kind of like they don't like it, they complain, and then that can move towards they the next step is like, maybe they don't care that much, like they're indifferent to you as a company. um, then it moves towards like you're nice, but that's it. And then the next stage is like they like you and they'll remember you. And the last stage is becoming a raving fan or promoter. When your students and when your parents really love working with you all, that creates like wow. That's really the indicator, or that's how you can tell if you've really wowed. Um, and of course, you're not responsible for everyone's emotions all the time. It's just we in our work we can create more wow. Um, yeah, so that's a good question. How often should we do the wow service? So I think that it really depends on the organization, but you can find weekly things that you can do for each other, like your colleagues. You can do like maybe a monthly thing, for parents. Maybe there's like for all new, like we'll get into some more of the like when and there's so many different ways you can do it. But I find that kind of making wow a habit, and finding like what are the ways we can make it easy and already like put it into something we already do will make it that much easier. And it'll just start small. Like you may start with a few things. I know there's a few ideas you already have, um, and that you're trying those out. Um, and so, yeah, some consistency is nice. I mean, it's very supportive. So we can talk about in the brainstorm like what exactly, when and how often. Good question. But wowing leads to up to 300% more loyalty and 9 times more referrals in not in every business, but in many businesses, this has happened. Um, so that said, I would love to kind of let you all warm up to wow. And so what I want to ask you to do is find a buddy, like, or actually find a tready. So a tready is 3 people. If you don't have 3 people, 2 people is also okay. But just get into small groups and talk about a time where you were recently wowed. So maybe you had an experience at a store, or uh, at work, or at home, or any time where you think you felt wowed. And I'd love for you to share with each other how it made you feel, and what made that special. What was it that made that special? So again, maybe groups of 2 or 3 is okay. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to talk about it with each other. And then I would love if a few of you share with later with the group. So give me a thumbs up or something in the chat if you understand, so I can let you work together. Yeah? Okay. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Thanks, Joel. And we'll come back. Go ahead.
có người kêu tận hoang luôn đấy.
Yeah, so I felt like he really cared because he came out even after I did everything. So wanted to help us.
You know, play games.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm really interested and had a friend in this game. And one time, I joined this game and I didn't know anyone online.
Yes.
And the whole day, and I'm afraid they are off game.
Yes.
And there's only one way to play this game. And usually when you nice on this day online and give you the gift in this game. And they said because they separate the group for three months.
Oh, because you always play.
Yeah, we always play and only play for 3 months. And still during the 3 months, we just talk with each other in chat and play exchange everything like with the and that's the feeling and this friendship with each other. Make me a bit surprised and happy.
Special, special.
Yeah, special because they said they off all times and they come back to make me surprised so happy, have a little bit happy this time because I'm very sad story with them and they feel I should have some fun in this game and feel they feel I should have relaxed with them, not worry about it.
So nice.
Yes.
Rất đơn giản thôi, nhưng mà
This makes me I feel really happy.
Yes.
And surprised about
Với cả là
Like,
có cái là một hồi lâu lâu ở Hàn, nói chung là ở Hà
I
Nội
can
hay có
Photoshop my camera and like, okay,
người
even
nhà
though
hàng
it's
thế
just a
là
normal experience. But because he ran outside and cut me a special protector for his screen and he gave me free things, he made it really special. So it's not just normal, like,
he just make you feel you was take care of
yes.
and you feel that you are special and you are special.
Yeah, not just another one. Yeah.
Okay, 30 more seconds.
Each other feel special.
Yes. Yes.
mười phần trăm là tối đa.
Okay, let's start wrapping up and we'll come back.
Come back.
Yeah, let's hear from a couple people. Yeah, let's hear from a couple of you about your WOW experience. Does anyone feel willing to share with me, with the group? What was a WOW that you experienced and how did it make you feel? Hang, can you choose someone to help share? that feels ready to share? Okay. Yeah. Does anyone feel open to sharing one of the wow experiences you had? Okay. Well, you could also put in the chat how the wow made you feel. You know, maybe for some of you it was enjoyable, like you felt special, or it was a surprise. Sorry, yeah, does anyone want to share? Hang, is there anyone who wants to share?
I can share something.
Okay, great.
Okay. There was one time on a rainy day when I came to the bank, and it was raining really hard. And when I put my bike in the line and like take off my raincoat, like the security guy, he held an umbrella, and he comes to me and wait for me like to finish like taking off the raincoat, and then he like he has the umbrella, and then he takes me inside, so like I can avoid like the rain. So I think it's like an experience of like experiencing like what I'm not expected,
Mm-hmm.
or what I didn't expect from him.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel? How did that make you feel?
I feel like happy, and he was really helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't expect him to do that. Like, but he came to me and helped me with like the umbrella.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a great example of a small and way to wow. He just held out the umbrella for you. He was thoughtful, and that didn't cost a lot. It just took a little bit of care. Um, thank you. And Joel posted one in the chat. He said a security guard washed his motorbike seat and cooled it on a hot summer Hanoi day. He said that he felt like that the security guard cared, even though it was just a cheap food place, and he didn't have to care. And so that made Joel want to come back the next day for lunch. That's a great example of someone, of a repeat customer or loyalty because of that. Thanks, Joel. Does anyone else want to share? A great wow. Yeah, Fan said when he came to VNVC to have Jolie vaccinated, there was someone at the counter to help Jolie take care of the baby and the bag so that she could pull out her wallet to pay. Yeah, exactly. It's those small things, those small touches of care. Oops. Yeah, so just those small touches of care make a big difference. Thank you so much for sharing. So I want to share a few ways to wow. I think your examples are great examples. And as you can see, they weren't, you know, a big parade or a big expensive this, you know, it was just a small gesture that felt like a wow. So those are great examples. I want to talk a little bit with you more about ways to wow. So I'm just going to mute everyone because I'm just going to talk for a little bit and then I'll unmute you so that you can share. So this one is around surprise and delight. So that's kind of like what was shared around, you know, not expecting anything. This is an example of a hotel. It's actually kind of more like a motel. It's not even like a super nice hotel, you know, in terms of, it's not like a 5-star hotel, but it's called the Magic Castle. And one cute thing that they do for their customers is they have a red phone by the pool, and they call it the popsicle hotline. So you can be by the pool, and you can, it's in California, but you can call on the little red phone, and people will bring you popsicles, free popsicles, while you're just at the water. Popsicles aren't very expensive, you know, it's not a big thing, but people love it. And you know, when they call, it goes like ring ring, and they say, hello, this is the popsicle hotline, would you like some popsicles? And then a waiter in a tuxedo comes in white gloves and a silver tray, and gives a popsicle. So it's kind of a cool thing, and it's actually, they've been rated the second highest rating in hotels. Oh yeah, popsicle, yeah, is a kind of ice cream. Yes, sorry. It's an ice cream bar. And they are the number 2 highest rated hotel, but not because they're very fancy or very beautiful. I mean, it depends what you like, but it's because they just find small ways to surprise and delight their customers. And there's probably been times when you were surprised or delighted. Another example is what we call elevate moments. So find meaningful moments and make those extra special. So I think I heard that maybe you were finding ways around birthdays or like anniversaries for repeat customers, something like that you wanted to do. It's similar. So as an example, there's some apartments that when they have a new tenant, like a new resident, they bring them flowers, and they give them like a menu of restaurants that deliver. So it's kind of like welcome to the neighborhood. And then also they do a new little tenant gift, so like a baby gift when someone has a baby. So these are like just on specific moments, like anniversaries or birthdays or like new customers or babies, this kind of thing. So that's another way. And then the third way is really around personal emotional connections. And this is something that if you were at the last training, we talk about PECs. And Zappos does a really good job of this. They're a they're an online retailer. They sell like shoes and different products online, but they have a call center, and they're kind of famous for the fact that they don't have scripts, they don't have call times, they don't really compete or do that much marketing. They just create connections with people on the phone. So the longest call that ever was recorded at Zappos was 11 hours. I'm not saying you should spend 11 hours helping your customer, but I'm just saying that this is an example of a wow. So, and really this boils down to, there's a really great quote, words of wisdom, that says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's really the magic behind wow, is it's about feelings and emotion. So it's said that in some studies say, the Gallup studies say 70% of customers' experience is driven by emotion. So that's why, you know, delivering happiness and educating happiness, like the reason why we focus on happiness is because it's a very high energy emotion. But it's just one of many emotions. So you could be, you know, you could feel loved, you could feel surprised, you could feel delighted, you could feel excited, you could feel cared about. There's many emotions. But 70% of the experience is driven by emotion. So again, I want to not just tell you about it, but also let you experience it. So PECs, we're going to just do that together, similar to what we just did. So, and you may have done this, some of you are in these pictures, but I would love for you to like stand up and go find a new person, someone you don't talk to very often or you don't work with very often. And there are 4 different questions here that you can ask each other to build a personal emotional connection. So one of the questions is, what is one of the most inspiring moments you've ever had? Another is, what piece of advice would you give to your younger self? What is an experience that's changed your life? And if you were an animal, what would you be? So you don't have to answer all of them, but just maybe pick a couple, and I'll give you 4 minutes to just talk with one other person, or two or three. 2 or 3 is okay, but just find a couple of people or one other person that you want to chat with, and I'll just give you 4 minutes. So somebody give me the thumbs up that makes sense, and I'll start the time. Or you can put in the chat if this makes sense. Okay. Okay, great. Well, I'll give you 4 minutes. Go ahead and go chat with someone new.
The ones that are kind of on mountains. I just like them. I think they know what they're up to. They can go anywhere and do what they want. You see them climb walls and things.
Cách đây khoảng hơn 2 năm, nếu mà nói là đúng thời điểm đấy cũng không hẳn lắm, nhưng mà trong khoảng thời gian từ 2013 đến 2017 là cái khoảng thời gian mà chị có thẳng luôn là lao động rất là cực lực, chứ không chỉ là làm việc ở đây mà làm việc nơi khác. Tổng hợp cái khoảng thời gian đấy là thời gian mà thực sự khi mà chị kết thúc công việc ở bất cứ công ty hoặc là trung tâm thì thường là về nhà không 10 giờ, và khoảng thời gian đấy thì thực sự nếu như trong trường hợp như là chị không có gia đình, bố chị với cả Thảo thì nghĩ là có phải thường thì chị chỉ cảm thấy là không có cái động lực nào để chị làm được như thế. Và cái thời điểm mà làm cho chị cảm thấy là rất là inspire chị ấy là cái Thảo của chị thì nó rất là mong muốn chị về sớm, và ngày xưa thì cái khoảng thời gian đấy của nó và cả ông hay hòa nhạc với nhau ấy. Và khi mà chị, tức là mỗi lần mà chị về đến nhà ấy, thì là cả ông với cả Thảo ông sẽ kéo violon, còn Thảo sẽ đánh piano và hai người hòa nhạc với nhau chào đón chị về. Thì cứ về đến nhà, về đến cửa cái lúc đấy cũng khoảng 10 giờ hơn rồi, nhưng mà bây giờ chị cảm thấy cái khoảng thời điểm đấy tạo chị cái động lực là chị sẽ tiếp tục, chị sẽ phải làm việc tiếp để dĩ nhiên là không phải là về vấn đề kiếm tiền, mà sẽ cố gắng làm việc tiếp trong cái cuộc sống cảm thấy rất là hạnh phúc như thế. Tức là cứ ngày nào chị về đến nhà cái là lúc đấy là sẽ là cái khoảng thời gian mà Thảo với cả ông, tức là Thảo thì tập piano xong rồi, còn ông sẽ lấy violon ra để hai ông cháu hòa nhạc với nhau để chào đón mẹ về.
Cái lúc này thì chị nói thì em bình thường thì em đi làm buổi chiều thì sao, như cái ngày cuối tuần ấy Khi em về con bạn ở trên ngủ nhìn thấy mẹ kiểu nó làm cái kiểu cái này để lên xong cười hết lên luôn. Kiểu lúc đấy đi làm về mặc dù sau ngày cuối tuần thì rất là mệt, nhưng mà nhìn thấy bạn ấy vậy thì em cảm thấy là mệt mỏi ăn uống hết luôn.
What is a piece of advice you would give cho younger self? Nếu như mà thời điểm mà con trẻ, khi em còn trẻ hơn thì em không có được cái gì.
If I were younger, nếu mà em chẳng cái lời khuyên đấy chính là học tập chăm chỉ. Thì em thấy khi mà bạn em nhìn lại bây giờ mà các em hồi em quá lười thì chị là mình phải nếu mà em chăm chỉ hơn thì em sẽ đạt được một số cái mà em mong muốn hơn.
Chị thì advice cho chị thì nếu mà if I were younger, nếu mà chị trẻ thì chị nghĩ chị
Okay, one more minute.
chị chơi thì chị chơi rất nhiều bạn, không phải là bạn, tức là bọn xấu bọn tốt chị đều chơi hết, và thân thì có nhưng mà chị dành thời gian để chơi ít thôi, không nhiều. Thời gian thân thì cũng có thân, ví dụ như là cấp 1, cấp 2, cấp 3 đại học thì chị đều có bạn thân, và đến hiện tại bây giờ thì đến khi mà làm việc cũng có bạn thân trong công ty. Thì nói chung là đi đâu thì cũng sẽ có kết thân, nhưng mà để nói là để dành thời gian để chơi thì sẽ không có nhiều thời gian để chơi, kể cả khi mà chị giống em thì em chị có thời gian để chơi đâu, chứ không phải là kết nhiều bạn hơn.
Nhiều chứng nhiều chứng
Okay, let's finish up our conversations.
Ăn đi chiều về làm cái để dành đến kết tội luôn.
All right. So we'll come back. You can thank your partner and we'll come back. All right. So thank your partner and we'll start again. Awesome. Okay, so is everyone ready again? Yeah? Okay. Thank you all so much. I actually just realized I forgot to have you use your playbooks, the booklets. But if you turn to page 6, there's a couple of questions about this exercise. So if you go to page 6, it's let me share my screen. Oops. It has some questions on there around how you felt, what's changed, and what does it take to connect personally. Well, actually, the questions are slightly different, but just take a moment to reflect on some of these questions, and then we'll share in the group. So it's hard to see you all. It's hard to know what's going on. But keep like thinking about this. But I would just like to hear from someone who is open to sharing, maybe someone who hasn't shared yet. How did this exercise feel for you? Did you enjoy it? Did anything change between you and this person? Yeah, how did it go? Okay, we have some shy people. It's okay. Well, keep writing. It looks like Lynn says, it was interesting to see that different things wowed and inspired each person I spoke to. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Lynn. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of creating connections is everybody has their own unique experience. So you can find small ways to make connections all the time. And I see that there's some other notes in the chat just about creating connection and some thoughts around Lynn, you said about they'll never forget what you made them feel. You don't agree completely because you had a customer whose son was struggling and you offered him a lot of time and heart to take care of him to improve. And the mom cried and said thank you and appreciated it, but then when he got better, she expected him to keep improving. Yeah, that happens. It's hard to manage sometimes people's expectations, but I think you did the right thing in supporting him, and really it's up to him to grow and improve, and you can only support. I see that Chloe said, I see that wow inspiring moments actually come from the little things or gestures, not necessarily big things. Yeah, exactly. Wows come in small interactions. So you could keep using this workbook later. We don't really have time to like completely do all of it. But the page 6 was for this exercise, and page 3 was for actually the first exercise about warming up to wow. So you can look more at that later. Maybe we didn't need a playbook. We'll use it. We'll use it. Okay. So any last thoughts on personal emotional connections and why they're important? Do you have any ways that you want to use personal emotional connections or questions, special questions at work or in customer service interactions? Something to think about. Yeah, we're going to keep moving because of timing, but I encourage you to think about how to use these, whether it's curious questions or just small ways to learn about each other ongoing. Lynn says that through these exercises, she realized that listening shows how you can wow. Yeah, listening to somebody and hearing them and saying, you know, I hear you, I understand you, that can really mean a lot. So thanks, Lynn. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into how to wow from the inside out. So this is our next section. And when I say the inside out, I mean from the organization, so from ICR and how you all feel, first, and then to the customers and the parents and the students. So there's a formula that we use pretty often. Maybe you've seen it before. It's happy employees equals happy customers equals successful company and meaningful lives. So our belief is that when you all are happy and enjoying your work, that will impact the customers. And then if your customers are happy, then that will impact your company and also create more meaningful lives. Of course, it's not the organization that is responsible for your happiness. We are each responsible for our own happiness, but we can create organizations that support us in moving towards creating a happier workplace. So it's kind of confusing because, you know, some people say, well, if it's a happy workplace, why am I not happy? Or why won't you do this for me? And it's more like the intention and the purpose to create a happier workplace is like like the start of having more conversations and having being more proactive and being more creative, and how can we how might we, or what is the best way to create a happier workplace now? And this quote I really love. It says, customer delight starts with employees. So for a customer, they'll never love and trust a company unless the employees love it first. And so, yeah, so that's what we believe. So happy employees, employee happiness leads to employee loyalty, which leads to more wow customer service, wow vendor support. Vendors just means like anyone else you work with. Maybe there's somebody who supplies your copy machine or supplies your office materials. Like even those people can be impacted by your organization. And then, yeah, the customer has more loyalty and the company becomes more successful. That is the goal, to build more happiness in the organization as a whole. And even the word happiness, you know, that's not even my favorite word personally. I connect more with other words like love, peace, bliss. So you may have a different word that works for you. It's just happiness is kind of an umbrella. It's like a umbrella word that can, or a basket word that can hold many words. But again, it's going to start with you first, then ripple out. So this is an example of a company called John Deere. They're not a very, like, I don't think they're a super sexy company, but they build tractors. But what is cool about what they do is for their employees on their first day of work, they have like a buddy. So they make sure that they have like a friend, a new friend who's like their buddy. They create like a banner for that person that like welcomes them. The CEO, the leader, sends a specific email to that person welcoming them, and then they give them a little gift that they can put on their desk. So that's one way that they like to wow their employees right when they start. And of course, you all have already started, but you can do this for new hires or for work anniversaries or birthdays or different moments. And then after, that's just one example of how to wow that individual me. And then we would think about the we, so that's the organization and the team. And an example of empowering wow would be to, so here at Zappos, they send cookies, flowers, and cards, thank you cards to their customers. And they keep track of how many they send, as a way to keep data on their wows. And what ICR, if that's something you all wanted to do and ICR supported it, ICR could maybe give you flowers or cookies or cards or something so that you could use those with parents, with students, but maybe not those 3 things, but something like that. And then the last stage is to the community. So that's to the parents and the students, and to Hanoi as a whole. Here we talk about celebrating WOW. So that's like recognizing and rewarding the stories that come out. So this is just like some pictures of people who were kind of celebrated, called the heroes for wowing. And this is Tony Shea. He's the CEO of Zappos, but he's saying, make wow a verb. So like you wowed me. So there are different ways you can do that in your office. And I'm just going to show some examples. And then we have another interactive component. So one thing that you all have used are wow cards. Lynn, I saw you wrote that Miss Vic, when she, who's your manager, she put a wow card in your bag on a day that you were feeling down. And that this really helped you kind of gain more spirit at work, and you felt very moved and touched by that. So you have those wow cards. I've also seen other clients create values cards. So 1 card for every value, and then on the back, they can write on them too. So it's not just a general wow, but it's like a specific to the value. So that's one thing that you might try. Another thing you can do is create a wall of wow. So, it doesn't have to, it could be the cards or it could be Post-its, and you can just write small ways that you saw a wow, or customers could write moments where you wowed them. Maybe you could have green Post-its for customer wows and pink Post-its for employee wows, and like blue Post-its for student wows, something, or you could just have them all be like different colors, doesn't matter. But you can use a visual in your office or in your centers to show the wow. Another thing that we did with some of your team members, your leaders, is we did this employee recognition where basically people, we did it like, how does this person live their strengths at work? But you could say, how does this person live the values, or what do you see? What are some positive things you see in this person? How do they wow you? So you could say like the name, how do they wow you? And then everyone can write notes, and you could maybe do 1 person a week, or every 2 weeks, a different person. I think that's a nice way. Just a couple more. This is wow anniversary plates. So like the plate means this license plate. But some at Zappos, they give each employee a nameplate with their name on it, like on a car, like a license plate. And then every year that they've been in the company, they give them another little sticker. And those stickers represent the year, like that year. So like 2004, 2005, 2006, and so on. This is another idea. It's called Wow Awards. So I think that you maybe already do something like this, but awarding people for wowing. Maybe you have like a wow a week or a wow a month, and you give them gift cards, and they don't always have to be money. They could be like, you know, you get like a pass for like 2 hours off, or like 1 hour break, or for a back massage, or I don't know, whatever. They don't have to be money. So that's another idea. And then let me see. Last idea. Okay, cool. Last idea is something called wow. It's also wow cards, but basically one of our clients does this, where in their meetings they choose a person every meeting, and they spend like, I don't know, like less than 10 minutes doing this. They have the person leave for like 5 or 6 minutes, or sorry, 10 minutes. And when they leave, everyone writes on a card, "You're so great because," or you wow us because," and everyone writes on the card. And then that person comes back into the room and gets to read the card, or gets the card and reads what everyone wrote. Or people could just express it out loud. But this is a really beautiful way. People love it, and it's a great way to recognize and celebrate people. So this is what you can do for each other. And I know that this is about wow customer service, but our belief is that you actually are the first customers. The organization's first customers are you, and your customers are the parents and the students. So it's like another way of thinking about what is a customer. And then I just want to say that the one challenge or pitfall is just to be reasonable with these wows. You know, it needs to make sense, not just in the heart, but also in the head, and like in the cost, because sometimes you have a great idea, it's very meaningful, but it's very expensive, or it's just difficult to like replicate. So that's another thing to think about when you are designing your activities, or sorry, your wows. Okay, so I have another interactive activity for you, but I just want to pause and ask if there's any questions, or if you want, like, about any of the ideas that I shared with you. No questions? Okay. Did you like any of the ideas? I hope they were inspiring. Okay, so the next activity is called Design Your Wow Team Member. So this is like a unique activity, but basically, when we think about how to become somebody who wows, it's something that you think about, you feel, and you do. It's all of these things. So before we get into ideas of what we could do, we want to first think about how we're gonna, who would be a great wow star meaning like rock star, or like champion. So in your booklets on page 7 and page 8, we're going to do an activity that helps us figure out what are the qualities that somebody who wows lives. And hopefully this shouldn't take too long. Because we only have 30 minutes, I want to try to be fast about it. But basically, you're going to design your wow person, like the person who you imagine you could be, or the person that you think would be a great representative of how ICR Hanoi wows people. So there's a blank person on page 8, and basically, so the idea is that you would draw like this person, and an example is maybe this person has 20/20 heart vision, so their eyes sees the heart of every employee. They're very like they see the world through the eyes of the heart. Or maybe they have storm boots, and those storm boots or those boots help them get through any challenge. Or maybe they have heels, and they model who you are and your brand. Maybe they have open hands that allow them to be free to give. So it's I know it's a little weird, but you get to get in like groups of or maybe you can just do groups of 2 and use this page 8 and draw the qualities that somebody who embodies who is very like great at wow. What do they look like? What do they do? What qualities do they possess? So I would give you 4 minutes to draw this person who's going to be your like ideal wow team member or wow star. Does that make sense? Let me know. I can't hear anyone if anyone's talking. Does that make sense? Okay, explain a little bit more. Okay, so basically, we're trying to create a vision of our like ideal person, our ideal yeah, why don't we work on an individual level? So I was gonna say it could be in groups of 2. You don't draw the body. So on page 8, there's already a body. Do you see that? Page 8, there's like a blank body. So in the body, you get to draw, oh yeah, you draw all the body parts, exactly. Yeah, so you could draw like a big heart in the center of their chest if you think this person is gonna have a lot of heart. If you think this person is gonna be very thoughtful, maybe you draw a brain. If you think this person will be very smart and very like helpful, maybe you would draw glasses and like a clipboard. But basically it's kind of a metaphor, but just think about like if you were to draw yourself and you were to be the like you were really able to wow people, like how would you look? What would be different about you? Does that make sense? Okay. So I'll just give you, I know it's a little hard, but it might be fun. So I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes to just draw. Just draw your ideal wow self and use metaphors and get creative. Okay? So I'll let you start.
Số đầu tiên, số 2, trên đây số 2.
Okay, so you can now work with a partner and just share your drawing and share why you drew it that way. What are the qualities? You can share with a buddy for a couple of minutes.
Nhìn nó còn có bay nữa. Đây là bờ vai bên trái của cơ bắp. Cơ bắp. Lên cơ bắp. Bàn tay to.
Okay, so we'll come back whenever you're all ready. We'll come back.
Joe, this is my new cereal.
All right.
And also
So let's come back to the group and share Can anyone share some of the qualities of their drawing with the group? Okay, let's do 30 more seconds and then we'll come back. All right. If I could have everyone's attention again, we'll hear from people and then move to the next exercise. All right, so let's hear from a couple of people what they drew. It sounds like Joel has all-terrain Croc shoes, so he's ready for any situation that arises. If need be, he can wow in water, wow in the street, and wow comfortably all the time. Great. Let's hear from Vinci. Vinci, can you share one quality from your drawing? Oh, okay. Can we hear from, let's say, Tao? What is one quality that you drew?
Okay, let's with me. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, no. Yes, one quality that I draw is a nice voice. Yes, it's nice voice. I think that when we have a nice voice, it makes the pupil hearing me feeling comfortable and feel happy and listen everything that I said.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Having a voice, and a really nice voice. Thank you. Can you pick one other person to share?
Yeah. Okay, so I will choose Vinci. Yeah.
Vinci, what did you draw?
Sao không nghe được? Sao không nghe được? Vinci ơi, tao không nghe thấy gì ở đây.
I can't hear you, but I think I saw you wrote in the chat a big smile. Right? Awesome. Vinci, can you choose one more person to share?
She still want to share.
I draw a big smile in the model because I think it's the smile of the first impression of someone who see, especially on the customer to see that this smile make me feel more friendly and who willing to share something with the interest of the customer.
Great. Thank you. Awesome. I'm sure people drew many qualities. And later, you can, if you all share them, you can make a list of qualities that you all saw, or even cut out your people and put them all together. It could be cool. We're gonna, since we only have about 10 more minutes, I wanna move to the next exercise, but yeah, feel free to keep drawing on this person, and you can name them. They can be your name, or maybe they have another name that you want to give them, and then you can cut them out and put them up on a wall, or just have it at your desk to remind you of how you want to wow, the kind of person that you want to be, or someone, like how it inspires you. So since we just have 10 more minutes, I want to spend the last 10 minutes doing a brainstorm for you all of different ways that you can wow your customers and wow each other. So I'm just using this slide. This slide just means, it means small moments for big impact. That's one thing that we talked about, is that a wow can be very small, but it can make a big impact. So something to keep in mind. And I wanted to say that I already asked, what strengths does your team already have when it comes to customer service? And Hang told me that you are all very attentive to the customer's needs, and you help a lot of the students progress, and you help them with their requests. There's also the fact that the existing customer service goal, there's an existing customer service goal of delivering special treatment to customers. So you have a personal program for each student to track their progress. She also said that you're all very young and creative, and you're really good at growing and learning new things. So I'd love to hear, are there any other strengths that you feel like this team already has when it comes to customer service? You can write down a couple of strengths that you see in the company or in your team on page 11. Page 11 says bottle your light, and you can just write down one more strength. That's something you think that your team already does well. Another thing that I talked to Hang about is challenges. that you're all having when it comes to customer service. So she said that wowing customers with a low cost, finding the consistency, how often do you wow, and then how can we make the customer understand our mission of educating happiness, even though they're coming for English improvement and not necessarily for educating happiness. Yeah, I think educating happiness is like the way that you all help people improve their English. It's like the vehicle in which you deliver. So that's the way I see it. But feel free to write down also if there's any other challenges that ICR has when it comes to customer service. On the same page 11. And if there's any that you want to share, either a strength or a challenge, you can type it in the chat too. I know I feel every time I come to ICR Hanoi that you all treat me very, very well. So I see you all go above and beyond in my experience. So I'm sure you do that with your customers too. And I would say a challenge that ICR has is that maybe you're one of the first organizations to ever do something like this, which is to try to create a happier workplace. So I think it's a challenge, but I'm really proud of you all. And then the last question I have for you all is how can we create more wow moments at ICR? How can we wow parents, wow students? There's a couple of ideas that I typed up that Hang told me about, but I want to spend the last 3 or 4 minutes you can get into groups of 2 or 3 and just talk with your small groups about how you think we could create more wow at ICR, based on some of the ideas that I shared or things that you think. So I will give you like 3 minutes to share ideas and brainstorm on how to create more wow. Does that make sense? Give me like a...
Bây giờ là sẽ là cái insight về cái để mình trở thành một boss ấy, mình sẽ có những và mình học những cái thử thách cực kỳ gì khi mà mình trở boss ấy. Thế mạnh thì cái này nó sẽ không phải là chỉ em. Thực ra thì cái phóng sinh chỉ nghĩ là tất cả những cái nào quan liên quan đến những cái kỹ thuật hay là những cái special activity của học sinh thì nó khá là quan trọng, nhưng mà cái quan trọng nhất là cái mà mình đặt trên cái expectation của học sinh của chúng ta thì con này không ra đây là những cái tốt của con học sinh không chỉ là cái expectation đạt được cái quá cho chúng ta về cái expectation chúng ta cái khả năng và cái kiến thức của anh khả năng của anh sinh ví dụ như là ở mình ưng là bao nhiêu cái computer cho học sinh không chỉ chuyên vào chương trình academic đáp ứng cả cái vượt trên cái số của học sinh đấy là trên là đào bao chương trình
All right, let's finish up. All right, so we'll just wrap up, but you can keep talking on your own afterwards, but we'll just finish this portion. All All right. So hopefully you had some ideas for how to create more wow at ICR. Our time is kind of ending, and I know that this is a big topic, and usually we spend like we could spend an entire day or multiple days working on it. So the hour and a half or the 90 minutes that we spend together is like a taste of what it means to wow. So you can keep using this playbook and the slides, which I'll send you, and the recording to go deeper with it. But yeah, I hope that there were some wow moments or that you thought about. Are there any ideas that people want to share? Any new ideas that were sparked? I know people are shy, but yeah, if there's any good ideas that came up, would love to hear it. Okay, well you can keep talking about them together and figure out the ideas that are going to make the most sense. Yeah, so Lynn said we realize that nothing is too small and act to wow customers, so we just need to show that we care. Yeah, that's exactly it, Lynn. Thank you for writing that down. We didn't have time to do this. It's called the Wow Alliance, but it's basically like an agreement that you can make with a team to like commit to wow. So you can look at this. It's page what page is it on? Page 4. You can look at that later. My apologies. It says BI group here. That's a previous client, but it's just about ICR. So you can use this later. And then let's see. And basically, when you go through it, you answer the questions, and then you create like your alliance or your agreement for how you're gonna commit to wowing together. And then when it gets tough, it's just like, what happens when like things get hard? How are you gonna support each other? So that's something that you could do after this. And then what's next? I just wanted to say that wow lives in all of these places. So not just for customers, it can live in your hiring, it can live in your onboarding, it can live in your communication. You can find lots of creative ways to put wow into small things. And I think, Lynn, you really got it when it says it's just about showing that you care. So you can find small ways to do that in all different parts of your of ICR Hanoi, and in your personal life. Just small things make a big difference. There's 10 tips here. It's on page 10. And I won't go through all of them right now, but one question that Vic had was about the 1-800 number. So that, sorry, that might not make sense. It basically means don't hide your like your office number. A lot of companies hide their phone numbers because they don't want people calling, because it takes a lot of time and they would rather just have them get their answers online. So it basically means like be available to answer people's questions. It's kind of simple. And yeah, I guess just like imagine what is possible when you just, if each of you brought a little wow to 2 people's lives today, imagine the impact that could have. I love this picture so much of a number of you because it just shows like your energy and your enthusiasm. And so I have every confidence in you all to bring these ideas forward. We're all experimenting, so Try a couple new things. Try one new thing today, one thing that you want to do to wow someone. Make that commitment, and if you commit to one wow a day, that can be 365 wows. If you just did one a week, that's still a lot. So you're already doing it, but just finding ways to celebrate and recognize and like make it a habit is really helpful. So that's all for now. I'll just end with this quote that you can design, create, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality. And that's from Walt Disney. So it's really up to you to make ICR the happiest workplace. It's not just Fan or Owen or someone else's job for that to happen. It's actually all of us contribute. And of course, they have the certain abilities and to make things happen, but your culture is all of you. So thank you so much for your time. I hope this was helpful, and I will send you the slides. Actually, I'm gonna put them in the chat right now, and I'm also gonna email them to you so that you have them. But I just put the link in the chat, and I'll email that out to you, and I'll also send the recording. So that's it. I can stay on for questions if you all have time, but if you have to go, that's okay. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.